Yo, what's good? Hope everybody out there is having a fantastic day. We have a great show on tap for today's Philadelphia 76ers Now by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr., and here's what we're talking about today. Should the Sixers sign DeMar DeRozan in NBA free agency? Also, should Philadelphia trade for sharpshooter Bogdan Bogdanovic? I partially just want Philadelphia to trade for Bogdanovic just because of all the great Philadelphia accents that we would hear in the comment section, on the radio airwaves. Yeah, that Bogdan Bogdanovic guy, he can shoot, man. Reminds me of Ersan Ilyasova. The entertainment of that would just be fantastic. Did I make you laugh? Do we inform you here on the show? If that's the case, make sure you share this video. Click the share button, select the X icon, click post to X, tag the homie, producer Jake Chipper on X at Jake Chipper, and Chip, the first 10 shares get a follow.
We want to interact with y'all here because that's what we do, you know. This is a family we got here. Every single subscriber, everyone that watches these videos, you know, I want to get to know y'all and get to be a true family. So the first 10 people to do that, post it to X, tag me. I'm going to follow you while you're at it. Follow me, follow Chase on X, on Twitter. You know we're giving you Sixers, Eagles content every single day. I'm always tweeting about your Philadelphia 76ers. So, look, first 10 people, you'll get a follow. Go share this video, baby. Let's get some Sixers fans more in the know about what's going on this offseason.
We're the two Philadelphia Bulls in the Chat Sports office. There's so much slander toward Philadelphia fans. We always have to stand up for ourselves, and in turn, we stand up for you. All right, let's start off with DeMar DeRozan here. Bleacher Report predicting that DeMar DeRozan signs with the Philadelphia 76ers. I'm not sure what the fan base's reaction to this would be, but his lack of shooting and willingness to not shoot, I think would rub a lot of people the wrong way, combined with the price tag and the fact that he's never won big anywhere he's gone. He leaves Toronto, they win a title. He's with the San Antonio Spurs when they go downhill, and the Chicago Bulls have been underachieving the last several years, including the last few in which DeRozan's been on that team. Production good. I care about the wins, and I'm not sure how he fits alongside Tyrese Maxey. Here is Bleacher Report's reasoning on why DeMar to Philly would make sense from Greg Swartz. The veteran forward, first of all, calling him a forward is kind of a violation too, will turn 35 in August, yet is still playing at a high level, making the All-Star team twice in his last 3 years with Chicago, but he's not an easy plug-in to any offensive system as an on-ball dominant wing who does most of his own scoring in the mid-range. If the Philadelphia 76ers strike out on signing LeBron, Paul George this summer, they can't trade for Jimmy Butler or Brandon Ingram with no players to send back in return, but the Sixers and DeRozan should have mutual interest. Signing the 6-time All-Star as a third offensive option next to Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey could still leave Philly with $20 million in cap space, enough to pursue another starter or try to re-sign players such as De'Anthony Melton, Kelly Oubre, and Kyle Lowry. The only edge and advantage I see there with signing DeRozan is the fact that he's not going to break the bank like some of the other marquee free agents or trade pieces, most likely. And maybe you'd still have some money left over to bulk up this roster in free agency. Now, the contract projection, 3 years, $100 million with the team option there on that third year. That's what he's projected to make. And are you willing to pay that much money for this production right here? I get it. The points per game there. And in 2021, 2022, he surprised so many people by popping off, averaging 28 points per game, 5 assists, 50% from the floor. But my issue, he can get to the cup, rises up in the mid-range, he can hit contested shots inside 15, 20 feet. But why is he so against taking the three? It's really never been a part of his game. And you look at the lack of three-point attempts throughout his career, and especially over the last 4 years, he just doesn't have a lot of confidence in that shot. Now, he did take nearly three in 2023, 2024, that's at least something to build off of, but you're 35 years old. What took you so long? And the shot profile, certainly interesting here. 2-point attempts, 14.2 per game. He connected on nearly 51% of those. So that's efficient. The 3-point attempts, 2.9, less than 34% on the 3-point percentage there. And then the dribbles here, 0 dribbles, nearly 4 field goal attempts. He connects on about 40% of those shots. The problem is you go to more dribbles, and more dribbles, that's really where the efficiency goes up as far as the field goal numbers. And if he has to dribble more in order to get to his spot and hit his shot, that then takes the ball away from Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid to the point where I think the offense becomes a little bit too clunky, and you're back to where you may have been with James Harden, where the ball just dies, the offense gets stagnant, and at the end of games, you don't have that wing who's comfortable with the catch and shoot from the corner. In order for DeMar DeRozan to be effective, he needs to dribble the basketball a lot. So let's turn on the YouTube short camera. 60 seconds, my take on DeMar DeRozan. Let's get it right now. As we approach NBA free agency, there's a lot of rumors around the Philadelphia 76ers and a lot of buzz and speculation as far as what they're going to do in free agency with all of this cap space. And Bleacher Report predicted that DeMar DeRozan is going to sign with the 76ers. I don't think it's going to happen, and I don't think it makes a lot of sense. With how much he has to dribble to get to his shot, to get to his spot on the floor. Yes, he might be efficient, and he might do a good job of hitting those contested shots, but the offense would become so clunky alongside Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid. DeMar DeRozan is going to be expensive. He's 35 years old, and he's a bad fit. He's not that wing who can stand idly in the corner and be comfortable with that catch and shoot and be efficient there. He needs the ball to be effective, and we saw it didn't really work. The offense kind of sputtered in a similar format with James Harden, Tyrese Maxey, and Joel Embiid. It could do the same with DeMar DeRozan. There are better options out there. I'm not going to DeRozan in NBA free agency. Now let's bring on producer Chip here, the OG. Are you with me? Are you against me? What do you think about the prospects of signing DeMar DeRozan?
I'm right there with you. And I don't really understand, the reasoning of, you strike out on Paul George, you strike out on these big names. Oh, just go get DeMar DeRozan. It doesn't make any sense at all for this team. If you're going to strike out on all the big names, I don't think you need to get so desperate that you just keep going down the list of top available guys. I think there's a point that you reach where even though he would cost $20 million less than a top tier guy,
right,
there's a point where you got to see, fit, getting good role players, I think is more important than just getting a player like DeRozan who's also aging as well as not being a good fit on this team. I don't think it makes sense. I hope this isn't the route the Sixers would go. Obviously just because Bleacher Report says that they predict it's going to happen doesn't mean it's going to happen. There's plenty of other guys I'd honestly rather have straight up a Kentavious Caldwell-Pope on the team or Malik Monk, honestly, than a DeMar DeRozan.
I think it makes your team better as a whole.
Yeah, it gets more well-rounded. DeRozan, as you said, just never really been a winner, and I think you need a floor spacer and a guy who can shoot off the catch. DeMar DeRozan just is not that.
So that's what we think. DeMar DeRozan, just a weird fit for Philadelphia, plus you add the age and the money. I've said here on the show, I'll go with the vet, but the vet has to be a LeBron, a Jimmy Butler, a Kevin Durant, a Paul George, a player of that ilk. And to me, DeMar DeRozan is kind of that good stats, bad team type of player. Would you sign him? S for sign, P for pass. Sound off with what you think down below. Feel free to debate it amongst yourselves. We always appreciate your feedback and you sharing your opinions here on the show. Coming up next, story number 2. Should the Sixers trade for Bogdan Bogdanovic as we approach the NBA draft and NBA free agency? Stay tuned for that. Today's show is sponsored by Prize Picks. They make daily fantasy sports so easy, and it's the #1 and largest independently run daily fantasy sports app in North America. You pick 2 or more players. You choose more or less on the projected stats, 2 to 6 players on any given night. and you can win up to 25 times your money. You get a $100 deposit match as well at prizepicks.com/CLNS. Finally, the NBA Finals are going to get underway tonight on Thursday. I cannot wait for this series. I think it's going to be a good series between two juggernauts who are playing good ball right now. Give me the Mavs in 6. Couple of young stars looking for their first titles here. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Luka Doncic on the Dallas side. So let's roll with Jason Tatum, more than a half point. That's the special on Thursday. Derek Lively, more than 5 dimes in game 1. And then Daniel Gafford, more than 6 rebounds. Win big money, withdraw your winnings, pick more, pick less, pick Prize Picks for your daily fantasy sports leader and get that $100 deposit match at prizepicks.com/CLNS. Trade for Bogdan Bogdanovic. I kind of had the Philadelphia accent coming out there just naturally. Bogdan. Bleacher Report putting together a mock trade to send Bogdanovic to the Sixers. I promise it's the last time I'll do that. Here's the Bleacher Report trade idea where the Sixers get Bogey, and the Hawks get the 16th overall pick and then a 2027 second-round pick. And you pose yourselves this question. We've talked about some draft prospects here on the show and how we kind of prefer that player to be close to being able to contribute right away. Are you going to get a better player at 16 overall than Bogdan Bogdanovic? I think that he'd be a good fit on this Sixers team. Here's what BR had to say about Bogey to Philly, potentially chiseling out more than $60 million in space renders the Sixers ridiculously flexible, and they will have up to 5 first-round picks to use as sweeteners, but they won't have actual players to dangle. A possible deal breaker for teams setting out quality names who aren't overly concerned with their payroll. Fortunately for Philadelphia, the Hawks will almost assuredly be mindful of their operating costs. After winning the draft lottery, they will enter the offseason just barely inside the luxury tax. The combination of Atlanta's track record and the quality of its roster suggests that won't stand. This exact construction should be a no-brainer for the Sixers, cap space pending. Bogdanovic, career 38.4% shooter from deep on over 8 attempts per 36 minutes, brings more on-ball scoring pizzazz than Buddy Hield and more playmaking than Kelly Oubre Jr. I do think those latter points are solid points. You know, you think back to that 2019 series against Atlanta. Bogdanovic was really good for Atlanta, and I like his ability to hit contested shots, hit difficult shots, and the ability to kind of create off the bounce. There are issues with his health and his durability, but he is coming off a year in which he played 79 games, connected on 37% of his long-range shots. He's going to take a lot of his shots there, average nearly 17 points per. I think that this is a good player who'd fit along nicely in the Sixers rotation. Year before that, 14 points per game on nearly 41% shooting. He's always going to kind of hover high 30s, low 40s, 2020, 2021, excellent from deep, almost 44%. You get that. That's a flamethrower right there. And if you do get that, you are, as an organization, going to be willing to invest in a player if they're giving you 15 to 20 points per game per night and they're connecting on, let's say, 37 to 42% of their three-point shots. You're going to be willing to invest $16, $17 million in that player. I mean, think about Tobias Harris giving this team the lack of production at 36 mil. You cut those costs in half, that's Bogdan Bogdanovic right there. 17 mil this year, 16 mil the following 2 years. That's a pretty affordable contract. Chip, injuries are a concern, but where do you stand on Bogey here?
At first, I was kind of in the mindset of I don't want to trade the 16th pick for Bogey, but the more I think about it, I think you have to approach this if you're the Sixers and say this deal was on the table. You know, you go into draft night, I think, holding on to that pick, if you can't trade it for a superstar, and wait to see what prospects are available at 16. And if there's not someone there that you really, really love, I think you pull this trade off, man. I love the contract, especially as I think what is, besides his, three-point shot-making ability off the dribble and ability to be, I think he could be a solid third scorer. That contract is just so affordable for a player of his caliber, and it gives you so much flexibility moving forward in this offseason where you can still make a big trade in the offseason. You can still make another big signing. You can bring back some of your own free agents that you might not have been able to if you were to spend a lot of money. I think he'd be a really great fit next to Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid from the Sixers, and this deal really is on the table. Now, who knows? I know the Hawks are going to be looking to shed a little salary. Do they really want, another pick in this year's draft? Maybe, maybe not. But if this deal's on the table, give me Bogey all day, baby.
Let's go. Bogey to Philly. What do you think? Let's round out with another poll question here. This trade here to the right of us, would you make it? Would you accept it? A for accept, D for decline. Before we wrap up, don't forget to share the video, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Year-round, and at this point, nearly daily coverage of the Philadelphia 76ers. We got you covered all the time here on the show. Thanks for watching.